Welcome back. Well, in our next conversation, we'll be looking at economic transformation through financial inclusion in Nigeria. To delve into the topic, we'll explore how providing access to financial services can create vast opportunities for low-income individuals and drive significant economic growth. Joining us for this conversation is Mr. Isaiah Wolabi, is a co-founder at Hasty.org, joining me from our Abuja studio. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Ladi.
Good morning. So what progress will you say have been made in Nigeria regarding access to financial services, especially for low-income populations? And what would you say are most of the significant barriers at this time?
Well, thank you very much. If you look at the National Financial Inclusion data, you realize that Nigeria is making progress, even though we are not where we want to be. For example, at the last count, the financial inclusion rate in Nigeria was at about 70%. That's about 64, 65%. But for this year, we had 74%. That's for both formally and informally financially included. Now, that's very important to note because when you think about financial inclusion in itself, you have to consider the formal and informal. As much as informal is important, there are more chances of people living to their full potential when they are formally financially included. So even though the informal numbers are great, it's important that we transition them to the formal financial services. And if you look at this data also, you see that even though Nigeria is at 74%, it doesn't do justice to low-income areas, especially rural communities and peri-urban areas across Nigeria that still significantly has very low financial inclusion rate.
Right.
We also continue to see trends that are peculiar over the years, which is the fact that LPA, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja continue to have very good financial inclusion rate. But when you look at other states, especially states in the northeast and northwest, you see that the financial inclusion rate might be low, and that might also call for policy program level intervention.
Okay, let me just jump
about some of the.
Yeah, okay. Let me just jump in real quick, because right now there's an issue right now. We're seeing that, I'm hearing that POS operators have run out of cash at this time. And definitely we know the banks, are closed for the Eid celebrations. So talk to me about this. Should this be happening in a country like Nigeria at this time?
Genuinely, if we think about what the point of sale service, which popularly is called POS, is contributing to financial inclusion, we should realize that though we are not where we want to be, there's been a lot of progress over the years, but they shouldn't be out of cash, because the fact that POS services, so POS operators are able to serve people, especially low-income individuals, women especially, and if you think about the other value chain, farmers also, you realize that there's a big opportunity when POS are in business. So if they're out of cash, it's important, and it also calls for more thinking around the two sides of financial inclusion, which is the demand and supply side. POS represent the supply side. What are we doing infrastructure, regulatory-wise, to make sure that they are able to serve their customers really well? So definitely, if the question directly is to say, should this be happening? Definitely not. But how can we address some of these issues? We need to innovate more around what POS is even doing for the low-income people, women, farmers, very poor people within the country. We know what the data states about multidimensional poverty. Over 100 million Nigerians have multidimensional poverty. Many of these people are also those who depend on this type of services. So it's important that we find better ways to improve the supply side, so that we can deliver sustainable financial services for the
right.
poor.
So that even on public holidays, everyone can have, access to cash so that they can actually enjoy, the holidays. But thank you so much. It was great having your perspective today, Mr. Isaiah Wallaby. He's a co-founder at Hasty.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so the markets open tomorrow. The banks are back open also tomorrow. So not to worry if you don't have any cash at this point. But that's it from me on Business Morning. I'm Ladi Williams. It's back to the Sunrise Daily team.